Hello Internet! In this video we are going to be looking at Electron, which is a way to run websites or your web page as a native application or local window on whatever operating system you're on. So it's effectively a way to make an app or just a program that you can run locally out of a web page. And so we're going to be looking at just the quick start for Electron because I have never used Electron before. So hopefully this is going to go smoothly. I have got this working on my Mac at work, and so that works. Now we need to bring it to Windows and see if it is the same. I've done this quick start. We're going to redo that, kind of walk through what everything's doing, and see if we can expand on that just a little bit to kind of make it our own little thing. So from what I can tell, you need 3 main files for your app. You need a package file, which is this guy. We'll just create these as we go. So I have just an empty folder that in Visual Studio Code that is just where our application is going to be. And so we're going to create a package.json and actually create that. How would I zoom? One moment. There, that should be a little bit more readable. Our formatting is awful, so let's fix that quick. And then we can get on to the next bit. So this is going to define what you're doing. So there's 3 parts to it. There is the app name, so we're just going to call this, say, our Hello Electron. And it'll be version 0.1.0. That's just the version of your app. And then there's this main file, which is the main program that is running. So there's 2, from what I can understand, there's 2 threads that run in any Electron app. There is your main thread, which is what this is going to run. This main JavaScript file is going to run on your main thread. Then there's also the, I don't remember what this is called, but it's the rendering thread. It's where all of your UI is handled. And so those talk together. The main thread handles sort of the windows and stuff like that. And then the rendering one is actually going to render your page. So we're defining what that is. And then this is actually going to end up defining what we're going to draw. So if we go down here, there's this giant main JavaScript file, which we're defining there. If we want to rename it, we should be able to. We can actually test that out. But if I just copy and paste this, that's not going to fit very well. Let me make that slightly better. So let's just kind of walk through this quick and kind of talk about what's going on here. So first function here is going to be creating the window, which is actually going to create our main window. So we're creating a browser window, which is just going to open up our browser. And then we're loading some URL. In their example, they load index.html, which is just the standard welcome page. And then we're also going to show the dev tools. This is actually going to display those standard Chrome development tools, so you can actually see what's going on there. And then finally, there's actually a callback that's registered here that actually handles what happens when you click that close button. So if I were to close this window, we need to handle that ourselves because you could have one app that opens multiple windows. And so if one app opens multiple windows, you don't want the app to close when you close one of them. You want to be able to manage those independently. And so this callback gives you a way to do that. Then it looks like there's a ready callback, which we're registering and actually using to create the window. So when our application is ready, we create the window. Then, once all windows have been closed, we're going to quit the app, but only if we're not on OS X. So if we're on a Mac, the default behavior there is not to close the program unless the user specifically closes the program. Even if you close all the windows, the application should stay open, which is what this is ensuring happens. But on Linux or Windows, you would want the app to quit. So this kind of makes it behave how you would expect on all those apps. And then there is an activate. It's common to recreate a window in the app when the dock icon is clicked and there are no windows open. So this apparently happens if, because you didn't close everything when this happened, it's possible for all of the windows, all the UI to be destroyed, but if the app to still be running. So the main thread, this whole script can still be running, but on OS X you may not have any UI attached to that. And so when you click a dock icon, you'd want that to pop up. So that's handled down here in the activate. And that should be it. That's everything that's going on. The main important part that I can tell is this, which is actually going to load whatever we want to show. And then the final bit is just our actual HTML. And so that is just index.html. And it's just going to say hello. And they've got some other extra stuff like printing out what version you're using. It's going to print out the Chrome version, the Electron version, and the Node version, because Node is what is running on the back end. So this whole entire thing is powered by Node. So you'll need the Node package manager npm in order to run this. And I'll show you how to do that because that's the next step. But then once you have that, that's what's going to power this whole thing. And then Chromium is what is actually rendering stuff to the screen. So it's a combination of Chromium and Node. So now that we have those three files, we need to actually run this, which if I can get a terminal, there we go. Let's go down here. And now it's going to say, give us a bunch of options to actually run this. And so what we need is we need to go and grab Electron from npm, because I have npm installed. It's here, but I don't have anything useful. There's nothing to do with this. If I try to do like Electron, it has no idea what that is. So what we need to do is install it. And so I'm just going to do, for this example, I'm going to do a local install, which is going to actually install it into this directory. If we do a global install, it will actually register it on my path so that I can access it directly from the terminal, which means I would be able to type Electron and it would know what that was. What this is doing is actually putting a binary executable in this path or in my directory. Once this finishes, then we'll be able to access that. There we go. And I don't know why it wants me to do. So normally Windows does everything backwards. All the slashes are backwards, but I don't think that matters. We're going to find out. But what I'm effectively telling it to do is say, execute this node modules binary Electron command, because that's what we downloaded. There's a whole bunch of other things in here, and those are all just the dependencies and things like that. But if I just do this, it's going to take Electron and execute it. And we get a Chrome window or a basic Electron app. You can see the little icon there. We've got the nice file, edit, view, window, help. Don't know what those are for. I think those are just like standard. And then we have our developer tools. So this is our app. So this is a website effectively running in a native thing. So we can use that, distribute it like a normal package, and we should be able to do all the normal stuff. But anyway, this is Electron. It's a way, if you have, say, a basic website and you want to bring it to something natively, even like the Windows Store, which does support Electron apps, you can do that this way, which is nice. It's simple. It's not the most efficient because that's just not, because you're running a browser and JavaScript instead of like native code. But I don't know. Visual Studio Code, I believe, is written in it, though they have a whole bunch of like native things on the back end to make it run fast. So it's used in a lot of things, and it's really useful. It has some drawbacks, especially in the speed department, but for utilities and like basic tools, it makes it really useful. So that's the basics of Electron. If you guys have ideas on what we could build with this, let me know in the comments and we'll definitely look into some of those. But that's it for this video. So until next time, see you, Internet.